One of the biggest problems that people have with Wayland is the lack of good remote desktop support on it. Now, yes, there are apps like RustDesk that allow you to technically have remote desktop on a Wayland system. It's just at the moment, those applications are experimental, and I know not all of them support complete unattended access. You actually have to be at your computer and okay someone going into your computer in order to use remote desktop. And that's okay if like a family member is trying to help you fix something on your computer or something like that. That is not acceptable if you're in like a completely different location and needing to access your computer. Now, lucky for us, GNOME actually has a solution to this built in because GNOME natively supports remote desktop through the RDP protocol. The problem is you can only access this on your own local network unless you port forward on your network, which is basically exposing a certain port to the internet. And this has a couple issues, as now anyone on the internet is able to access that port on your network, which does open a hole in your network for that port. And then additionally, sometimes you're just not able to do that. I personally lived in a college dorm for 2 years, and the university is not going to let me have access to their network to port forward something, so I could have never done something like this. Now, luckily, we do have a solution to this, and that is a mesh VPN. So I'm going to be using a mesh VPN called NetBird. Full disclosure, I did just get a job at NetBird, so I am a little bit biased, and just to try and negate my bias, Tailscale is another option for this, but I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this with NetBird because, one, NetBird's open source. I actually have been self-hosting my own instance. I've been having a great time with it, and I'm not just saying that because I work there. And two, because I work there, I just know my way around NetBird a little bit better, so easy for me to actually make a tutorial on that. For those who don't know, a mesh VPN is basically, instead of a normal VPN like a Mullvad VPN, Nord, PIA, Mozilla, Proton, all the VPNs that sponsor YouTubers, mesh VPNs are going to let all of your devices connect to each other, kind of as if they're on like the same local network. Now with that, I got a little Fedora 44 virtual machine right here. We're going to pretend like this is another computer. So on GNOME, we're just going to go to GNOME settings, and we're going to go to system on the sidebar right here, and then we're just going to go to remote desktop, and we're going to turn on desktop sharing and remote control. Now this is for your own user session, so that means you do have to be logged into an account in order to actually access your computer, which I personally want full unattended access in case I need to access my computer when I'm not there. So I'm going to enable remote login, and this will basically let you remote desktop into GDM, which is GNOME's login screen basically. And so now in theory on your own local network, you can now remote onto your system, but you're still not able to actually remote into this if you're not on your local network. So if I was in a coffee shop or something or an office, I wouldn't be able to get to my system. So we're going to use the NetBird VPN to actually fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to netbird.io, and we are just going to click install right here on the top right corner of the homepage. Most people are going to want to do this on both the system they're trying to access as well as any system they're using to access their remote computer. Although I will show a method to access your system without NetBird installed on another computer later in the video. So there's downloads right here for Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android. But if you are on Linux, it will give you a little install.sh script that you can actually just copy and paste into a terminal here. I already did this, so I'm going to skip this step, but this install script is going to work on Ubuntu, Debian, as well as Fedora and Red Hat based distributions, including actually OS tree distributions, which I helped improve support for, so thank me for that. I'm also right now working on support for OpenSUSE, so hopefully that'll be in the script soon, but you will have to find other installation methods if you're on a different distro like Arch Linux or NixOS. Now, because we're on a GNOME desktop and GNOME doesn't have a system tray, you're also going to want to make sure you have the app indicator and case status notifier item support extension right here. And that way, when we actually launch the UI for NetBird, we can actually access it from the system tray here. So now from the tray icon, we can just click connect right here, and it's going to launch your web browser and let you sign in right here. Now, if you're self-hosting NetBird, you can actually go to advanced settings right here and change the management URL. Although do note, there is a new UI overhaul coming soon, so this may look different in the future. Anyways, I do personally use a self-hosted instance, but I have all my shit on my network on there already, and I don't really want to leak it on the video, so I'm going to use the official instance here. So let me sign in real quick. And now our virtual machine is signed into our NetBird instance. So now if we go to the NetBird dashboard, which is on the official instance, it's app.netbird.io, we're going to see the computer we just added right here. I'm going to click on it and change the name of it. I'm just going to do remote PC, and we're doing that just so it's not a generic name. It was just Fedora. I wanted to be identifiable. You can name it whatever you want. And then just a little tip right here. You may want to turn off peer session expiration right here. So what this does is basically it kicks you off of NetBird and makes you re-sign in every set amount of time, 24 hours by default. And that is good for security if you have a bunch of stuff on your network. But because I want to be able to just remote desktop into a computer at any time, this is actually not the behavior we want. So we're going to disable this. And then right here, you're going to get your NetBird local IP address. So we'll copy that. We'll head over to any remote desktop application that supports the RDP protocol. I'm using Remina personally. We'll set the protocol to RDP, and now we'll type our NetBird IP address and our username as well as our password, which should be set in this screen right here. And now, as long as both devices are connected to the same NetBird instance and account, we should now be able to access our system remotely from any network anywhere. So as you can see, because I'm using the remote login option instead of just the regular desktop sharing option, if I was using desktop sharing, which is on port 3390, so I'll actually make another one. We'll name the original remote login, and we'll name the other one desktop sharing, and the desktop sharing one is on port 3390 for me, as you can see right here. So if I go to the desktop sharing one, it's actually a different username and password, so let me grab that. But now we're just in the same virtual machine right here. It's actually a little bit smoother than just running the virtual machine in GNOME boxes, so that's actually kind of funny. It's literally running smoother for me here. But then if I were to sign out of this right here, it would no longer work. So the remote login option right here is actually going to take me straight to GNOME Display Manager and let me log into my fresh user account completely unattended without me even being there. Now, what if I wanted to let other people access my computer using NetBird? Well, now, if we wanted to, we actually can connect this to a custom domain and be able to access without NetBird. So for free, you can actually get access to eu1.netbird.services. So we'll just put some gibberish in here, Cameron Noth tutorial. That's the URL, whatever. And then we'll do TCP service. We'll do our remote PC. And then for the port right here, we want 3390, and we'll hit continue. We can add a little access control right here. So only people from America can actually access my system. That way we're not going to have hackers from North Korea trying to target this. Hit continue. It is giving you a custom port. So the port is going to be different, so keep that in mind. But now I'm actually going to disconnect from NetBird right here. And if I copy this, go over here, we'll name this remote system without NetBird, paste this in, put in our remote desktop username and password, save and connect. Bingo, we're not even connected to NetBird right now, and I have my remote system right here. It is a little bit slower because it's having to route through the EU for this, and I'm personally American, but if you self-host your own instance of NetBird, this will not happen. However, I'm doing this completely on the free plan of NetBird right here, so this is a completely free way to get unattended remote access on Wayland using only open source software. So I just think this is super cool. With all of that, I hope this was a helpful tutorial for you guys. Again, sorry for the bias. I kind of wish I made this video not working for NetBird, but genuinely, I just think that this is a very cool use case of this and I wanted to share it. If this video helped you out, you can subscribe right here, support a broke college student on Patreon, and you can check out my video about why 2026 is going to be the year that X11 dies and Wayland takes over. Peace out.